Добрый вечер.
Здравствуйте.
Привет, ребят, пока ждем всем. Hi everyone, we're waiting for some more participants to join. Okay, guys, I guess that we may actually start because we're waiting for a couple of minutes already. So as I texted to you, the primary language of the debates would be English. In case you are not comfortable with English, you could simply answer in Russian. I will repeat questions in both languages. And in case you will ask some questions English speakers, I will help to translate them in English to English speakers, and in the other way, in case you're an English speaker and you are asked in Russian. Собственно, что я только что сказала по-английски. Всех приветствую на дебатах. Спасибо всем, что включили камеры. Мы будем работать в двухязычном формате, основной язык английский, но в случае того, что есть какие-то проблемы с английским языком есть, вполне возможно задавать вопросы, там, комментировать, отвечать и так далее на русском языке, в этом никакой проблемы нет. Опять-таки, два языка равноправно. Я буду помогать переводить какие-то вопросы англоязычным студентам, если не заданы на русском, и наоборот, если вам задали на английском и не совсем понятен вопрос, буду помогать переводить его на английский. Вот. The first thing we actually have to do before we start is to introduce ourselves. So I represent here the electoral commission of the Student Council of HC, and now I will ask everyone to introduce themselves in random order, one by one. It's up to you who will start. Просто кто-нибудь, кто захочет первым в своем порядке, может быть, начинать представлять себя. Кратко, кто вы, что является основой вашей программы, зачем вы идете в СОИС, so who are you and why are you going to CISA, the Council of International Student Association. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself. In random order, you don't need hands raised.
Давайте тогда, наверное, я начну. Меня зовут Искандар, я студент программы экономика факультета экономических наук и поступил только в этом году. To English speakers, my name is Iskandar, and I am a student of the Faculty of Economic Science and first course. Is it enough?
It would be nice if you tell us a little bit more, like why you go to CISA, like in short, in just one sentence.
Oh, I've been participating in different kinds of elections. For example, while studying in Westminster Lyceum, I was elected to the post of the informative executive. So I'd like to participate and be a part of the family in Higher School of Economy.
So who will be next?
So, well, I can. Hello, everyone. I'm David Movsisyan from Armenia. I'm also a representative of the Faculty of Law in the first course. I'm a twice ex-president of the Students' Council of my school, of an international school in Armenia. And I would also like to join the family of Student Council of the Higher School of Economics. I'd like to mention the three main points of my point for the CISA. First of all, it's the centralization and promotion of all existing clubs for international students. Firstly, I noticed that there is a slight problem with promotion of these clubs, and not all the international students are informed about the existing clubs. So it's my first thing to do in the CISA. The second one is enlarging assistance to foreign students with all possible adaptation issues, for example, settling in dormitories and adaptation in new country. The HSC got it actually, but I'd like to do more and to more organize this kind of issues within the CISA and within other officials of the Higher School of Economics. And also the third, last but not the least important point of my program is dealing with the Body Institute. I guess many of us know that there is a Body Institute in Higher School of Economics, but actually there is a lack of information about who they are or how they are selected, for example. So it's a must to understand how CISA controls this issue, how CISA is involved maybe in election of these persons. And as a sum up for my speech, I'm very happy to be a candidate, and thanks all of you for joining us in this Zoom conference, and also the ones watching us on YouTube. Thank you. That would be all.
So maybe someone else wants to introduce himself or herself.
Yes, I could be next if nobody minds. My name is Svetlana. I'm an international student from Spain. So hi, Emilia. I suppose I could say hola to you. So my main idea was to represent the international students. I never been a part of any committee, but I have an experience of being international student. First, I've been an international student in Spain when I immigrated to Spain. So I know how it feels to be kind of different and have different mentality. And now coming to Russia, so knowing all the troubles, I think I could help. I could be helpful for international students in order, maybe they need some help with language. So, for example, since I do speak Russian, Spanish, and English, whatever they want, they can have quickly reply. And I think I'm able to solve problems. So whatever they need to solve, they just can easily contact me, and I will do my best. The second is in adaptation. So if there's any need for maybe any advice or any psychological also support, so I think we could arrange maybe some kind of group where will be some people who will explain us about easy process for adaptation for international students. So this is my main idea. I hope it will be helpful. And please, the next one, whatever who wants.
So maybe I can go next. So first of all, good evening, everyone. I would like to start with a brief introduction of myself. So I'm a first-year international student of the KHUHSE, which is Kyunghee University and Higher School of Economics double degree bachelor's program, and I'm in the first year. Originally, I hail from India's capital city, Delhi. And I chose this program at HSE because this kind of double degree program is not available actually in my country. Secondly, this bachelor's program is specializing in economics and politics seemed very interesting, career promising, and appealing. And secondly, as to why I am being a candidate to CISA. So I would like to help the other students, other international students coming into HSE Moscow by all means possible. Maybe as David Movsesian said, maybe I can help them with dormitory issues, or if there is any such problem, I can pass the message to the higher authorities. And yeah, well, that's it.
Okay, can I? So, hi everyone, my name is Emilio. I'm from Mexico. That's why it's Svetlana. Hi to me in Spanish, maybe. Well, I've never been part of any committee before, but I've always wanted to be included in this international community at HSC because that's really interesting for me. My main thing, like the main points that I would like to do while being in the committee, it's like to make CISA, this committee that can make HSC a safe place for everyone, not only for Russian speaking people, but also for other people, because for example, when you don't speak Russian as your main language, obviously you feel like in a strange place where no one understands you, even though there are people who speak English. Also, I would like to make more equality for all the foreigners between the Russians and foreigners, because even though many say that it's not there, that equality is there, it's not. It's a line between foreigners and Russian speaking people, not only Russians. I would like also to make more activities to include all the international students to the Russian community, so everyone could meet each other and make everything more lighter. And also I would like to make to help the international students to adequate to this system, because I know that it's hard to adequate yourself to a new country and a new culture. That's pretty much it from me. Thanks.
And thank you very much for reminding me. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sukhail. I am an international student from Uzbekistan. I was born in Tashkent. This is country south of Russia. However, I spent most of my life in Athens, Greece, where I finished the Russian school. And currently I'm studying political science here at Higher School of Economics. I'm now currently a first year student. So I think that the main problem right now with international students at HSC is the fact that there is kind of separation when those who cannot speak Russian, they are not treated equally when compared to Russian speaking people. And as someone who is by language Russian, because I speak Russian fluently, and who has some English language speaking abilities, I hope that I will be able to bridge this gap between international students at HSC and the administration, because very often the rights of international students are ignored. It's very often the case that because of cultural and language barriers, the rights of international students are not realized fully and in a way that conforms to the ideals Higher School of Economics espouses. Regarding my experience, I'm a first-year student. I first came to study here at HSC just several months ago. But nevertheless, for several months, I have been a secretary of the scientific committee of HSC's Student Council. And in addition, before that, for almost 2 years, I worked as a volunteer for Braver Angels, which is an American nonprofit dedicated to working on bridging the gap between people of different political beliefs, that is, in working to defeat political polarization. And I think that's all for me. If you don't mind, I can repeat this message in Russian. Всем привет, меня зовут Сухал Ниязов. Я сам из Ташкента, Узбекистан, это страна юго от России, но, однако, я прожил большую часть своей жизни в Афинах, в Греции, где я закончил русскую школу. На данный момент я изучаю политологию в высшей школе экономики, я сейчас на первом курсе. Вообще, если говорить в целом о проблемах, которые встречаются между студентами в высшей школе экономики, это, как мне кажется, то, что те, которые знают хорошо русский язык, они, они более-менее спокойно интегрируются в эту среду с русскоязычными, а те, которые не знают русский язык, особенно касается магистратуры, у них есть некоторые проблемы с интеграцией. И я именно надеюсь, что в объединении иностранных студентов она будет играть именно эту роль модератор, скажем так, если можно так выразиться, отношения между международным студентом с одной стороны и администрацией и с другой, потому что для этого необходимо человек, который как поглощ, который спокойно более-менее может ориентироваться как среди международных студентов, так и среди русскоязычных. Если говорить о моем опыте, он, конечно, не самый значительный, но вот на протяжении нескольких месяцев я был секретарем научного комитета студсовета НИУВШ, и до этого я работал некоторое время в одной волонтерской организации Braver Angels над вопросом политической поляризации. Я надеюсь, что если меня изберут, я смогу внести свой вклад в улучшение состояния международных студентов в вышке. Я думаю, это все. Спасибо за внимание.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I guess, if I'm not mistaken, if I am, please tell me. Everybody expressed their opinions, represented themselves. So maybe we could go to the second stage, which is actually my questions to all of the candidates. I will ask them. I guess there will be like 2 of them. And anybody who wants to answer just answers, so like you don't require hands, right? Something like that. If you have an answer, you could participate, you could join thoughts of others, or you could suggest some controversial ideas. It depends on your opinion. And I have, for the first example, a simpler question than the second to my mind, which is, so, for instance, we discussed the typical situations which CISM may face during the operations. There is a problem that international students face some issues with communications due to language barrier. Moreover, many of you already mentioned that problem. So what would you do? What CISA, what the Council of International Students Association, and what you personally could do to solve this problem for instance, international students who live in dormitories or those who live in apartments somewhere in Moscow, for instance. So what could the Student Council do to improve the experience of international students in terms of language barrier? Краткое уточнение, если нужен повтор на русском языке, пожалуйста, скажите об этом. Okay. So let's then discuss. Who wants to answer first?
Can I answer first? As we know, we already have a psychological center in HEC, which works 24/7. But we could also do the same for a translation center for HEC, which is English, Russian, because of course I know that there are many foreigners who don't speak English, but I think English is the international language, so that's not excuse. Russian could be an excuse, but I think English is not one of them. So it will be a 24/7 operational center, which could help someone who needs an urgent call for translation in the moment. That's pretty much my idea.
Well, maybe I can speak. I think all the international students have a buddy provided, so I don't think it should be such an issue. Language should be such a barrier. They can always consult their buddy about it. And I think for that, we can increase the efficiency of the buddy system. Maybe it can be assigned more quickly. Like when I applied for a buddy, it took about 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe we can fasten that process. And what else? Maybe we can provide Russian language classes for international students. Yeah, well, that's it.
Well, I'd like to share my thoughts. There are different levels where the language, the international language, well, actually we understand that that's English, must be provided. For example, in the academic part of students' education, I think that all the files and all the materials, at least in groups where the international students are involved, must be translated into English. And I think the HEC provides this part, but what's about the communication part with students? Well, I think that it will be a good solution if in the division part, when the university divides the students into groups, well, maybe for the international students, they must be included in groups where are at least one or more English talking students, well, at least people who knows English, at least for communication. So they would not be excluded from the communication part with the students either. And also one of the candidates mentioned that there is a possibility of getting a buddy, but first of all, not every student is comfortable with having a buddy, and second of all, buddy is also a student who can't be in all the classes. And if there are more English-speaking students in the same group, it would be more easier to provide well, a translation maybe, or a better communication for that student. And for the dormitory part, I think this method also can be used. Like, for example, dividing into rooms the students, English-speaking students into the same rooms. Well, maybe there are division into rooms, at least there are 3 or 4 students, or maybe at least 2 of them can be English speakers, also making that part easier for both of them.
Maybe I can express my opinion about this problem. First of all, I think that I'd like to organize some meetings where international students can communicate with each other, as well as Russian speaking and English speaking, in order to become like more family, so they can help each other. Is the first. Secondly, while talking about the dormitories. I live in a dormitory, and there is such problem that a lot of English-speaking foreigners, they all live in one room. For example, I am Russian-speaking foreigner, and I know English as well as Russian. However, all of my neighbors, they also speak Russian, so they don't need any help in Russian language in translation. But others, like on my floor neighbors, some of them don't know Russian and they need sometimes help in translation. So to me, I'd like to make a bridge between Russian-speaking foreigners and English-speaking foreigners in order to English-speaking foreigners learn Russian language faster. Not the whole language, but just to communicate with outside of the university, because they need to live here, I mean, in Moscow for years. And if they don't know Russian, it will be really hard for them to communicate outside of the university as well.
Well, if I may, I had 3 main ideas. 2 of them coincide with other students' ideas, and 1 is new. So the new idea, I would make some kind of technical support, maybe some in Telegram or in some other media, where in lifetime, if student has any question in like how to say it in Russian, so they just type their question in this live chat, and they can have a quick online support. So there will be somebody who will tell them and support on that, or guide on the city. So create something 24 hours live where any international student can go with any question, and they will know that they will have a quick reply. So more or less something like that. And the other one, yes, to make lessons of Russian, but not in a traditional way, which can be maybe a little bit boring. And since we already have so many classes, so maybe people will not be interested to come. So make it in entertainment way. Maybe to watch some very interesting movies in Russian, but like traditional Russian movies, so they can also learn not only the language, but also maybe something from the culture. So this was the second opinion. And the third opinion, it's yes, to organize some events where the international students can be mixed together with Russians. So a part of training language, they can with the word to exchange the culture. And maybe, for example, it could be some food presentation. So it could be, for example, every country, every students meet, they bring some traditional food. So this is an interesting event. People will come and they will speak about something interesting and nice. And another one could be maybe to speak about the sport. So each country has like main sport. For example, Spain, football, and Russia is good in skiing, and many others. And so maybe it also could be an interesting idea to speak about something interesting, not a typical student environment, but more entertainment, I suppose, my idea.
Well, if no one minds, I will add my thoughts. Actually, I think all of the candidates expressed my position as well, so I agree with you completely. There's one point, however, I would like to focus on. The problem is that there are some programs which are English speaking, and especially on the level of not bachelor's degree but magistrate. So in these programs, usually English speaking students do not have many problems communicating with their study offices, with other students. But on the bachelor's level, it's often the case that programs are Russian speaking, whereas those foreigners who are studying there, they do not know Russian, they know Russian, but not on the level to be able to fully integrate into the atmosphere. I know it from my own experience on my political science degree. There are some international students who are not yet, do not even have access to all the services that we Russian-speaking students have. They do not always understand what study offices want, because study offices, they send all information in Russian because our program is Russian-speaking. And as a result, there is some kind of, I believe, part of a minority of international students who are not fully English speaking, and therefore they are not treated as English speaking, but at the same time they are not fully integrated in the Russian speaking atmosphere. And I believe that it's important for our organization to deal with this problem, and especially in the role of let us say a bridge, as someone else already said, between study offices on one hand and these students on the other. For instance, it makes sense to send important information in both English and Russian in order to facilitate better communication of all necessary facts. So that's it.
Wonderful. If anybody else wants to share his opinion about the question I asked, or we could move to the next question.
We could move to the next, I suppose.
Well, okay, yeah. So the next question would be a little bit more complicated, maybe, but it's my personal opinion. It could be different for you. I will ask you to limit the length of your answer of no more than 2 minutes, if possible, because we have some shortage in time, not currently, but in general. And the question is about one other situation which could be faced when you're in CISA. So international students, they may face such issues as nationalism or racism. There could be conflicts based on nationality or religion or something like that. So how do you plan to solve those cases? If there appears a case in which there is a conflict, for instance, between two international students based on nationality or some other sensitive.
My idea is that they need to have a legal support, because, for example, we all raised in different countries, and different countries has different laws. So I think before the international student come to the country, to Russia, they need to have like basic rules which are different from their countries. So before they come, they already know, okay, we need to be aware of this. This is important in Russia. This is the law, and we need to know that, and we respect that. So we need to have a first legal support before coming, to know the most difference between our laws and law of Russia. And also, if any discussion starts, to stop it at the very beginning, and so the international student have somebody in international support team where they can come and say, listen, we had this situation and I need to have an advice, a legal advice, whatever, what I can do. If I'm wrong, I'm not wrong. So they can understand what is the right behavior in Russia, which sometimes it can be different from country to country. So this is the main idea is that legal support before coming to Russia and once arrived.
Thanks. Someone else?
I think this problem, it's basic, but at the same time, it's pretty complicated to solve sometimes. From my point of view, being from two communities, not only international one, but the LGBTQ+ community, I faced many of this kind of stuff. And not only here, but in other places. And in these cases, I think the main thing is educate the people, because many people don't know what's that. They don't know about this culture, about this religion, about these beliefs, about this sexual orientation, and the people think that it's wrong because they don't know what's that. And what Sveta said about the someone like could protect the law and that kind of stuff, I think it could be a little bit more complicated. But if kind of a fight sort during CISAs, or like two students are just fighting, I think in this case it will be a subject for a disciplinary action instead of, and CISA could evaluate, and not also CISA but the other departments of the school could evaluate what's going to be happening. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a foreigner or you're a Russian. At the end of the day, it's something bad and it's a disciplinary action.
Thanks for sharing. Someone else?
Well, it seems to me that it's important to teach international students about law in Russian in order that they understand what's been happening. For example, on our course, we have a course called Права и грамотность, which translates as legal literacy. So perhaps some kind of adapted version of this course would help international students to understand the specifics of Russian law, especially regarding these difficult situations.
Maybe I can give my opinion if no one's mind. So, as several people said about being taught for foreigners to teach them how to live in Russia and tell them laws in Russia before coming and after coming. It's first of all, and also I personally faced nationalism in my dormitory while before coming there. I mean, I came to my dormitory and there were people on two sides who were fighting. So the administration forced them to leave. And these things happens a lot of time between different foreigners, as well as conflicts between Russians and foreigners. Of course, no one can prevent it. However, we can make foreigners to sometimes avoid such situations, as well as others said, to teach them what not to do, what to do. It's my opinion. And another is that, for example, if we got conflict between two different cultures, we could give them some help, like psychological help, in order them to make their relationships better, but not in a worse, not worse, just that's all.
So I'd like to share my thoughts. Well, all conflicts based on national basis are a result of misunderstanding, misrepresentation, and miscommunication. And on the beginning levels of this possible conflicts, I mean, CISA must do everything to lift the from the things I said. I mean, there must be a understanding, representation, a good representation, and a good communication. So CISA must provide some safe spaces for not only international students, but all the students to have a healthy communication about their, well, just a healthy communication. It's not in our competence to expect the community to discuss things we want. And if the measures which CISA will provide, just the things I said, they won't work, so the disciplinary process part must be unfortunately used, and the CISA must be involved in the processes, including international students, and must fully protect the international students' rights, and well, must do everything for the international students to feel them protected.
May I? Sorry first of all, sorry for being late. My computer started running an update and it took half an hour, so sorry. If we are talking, if you're talking about discrimination, on which level are we talking discrimination? Between students or between the institution of the university and students? If we talk about these two levels, then racism is very hard to prove. The cases of racism are very, very sensitive. And if I may just give an example, this morning I was on the phone with somebody from the Visa and Registration Center, and I tried to ask questions, okay? And then I understood from the context, somebody entered the room and the person who was on the other end said, 3 o'clock, I said, 3 o'clock, and take your jacket off. So, you know, and I realized there was somebody entering, and that someone didn't know simple rules, right? I mean, simple manners. And I understood that in Russia, it is probably required, if you enter a room, having your jacket off. So in the same situation, if it was a person from, you know, from a vulnerable background, somebody from Africa, it could have looked like a case of racism, you know, but in reality, it wasn't. It was just a matter of knowing the culture. And if we talk about racism, we should not mix it with culture, because it's another thing. And I agree, it is culture. It's nothing to do with you know, with nationality, because well, I guess the higher school of economics is pretty liberal in this sense. So I just wanted, you know, to make sure I understand correctly what we are discussing. If we're discussing discrimination at the level of university, between the university and the students, then it is very hard to prove, but it doesn't mean there is nothing to do about it. So there are, I think, there are psychological services. I mean, there is psychologist available. We can always refer someone to that person. And then I think it is very important. I don't know, I missed it, you know, when I started like a year and a half ago, I missed like an introductory course into like Russian academic culture, because the rules are very different. One professor was offended when I called him by name, while it is okay here. And, you know, then he wanted us to call him like doctor or professor, blah, blah, blah. And there are many things like this. Maybe if you are Russian, you don't feel it. But if you are not Russian, then, you know, we need an explicit course on Russian culture and academic culture in particular. So that was my thought. Thanks for letting me speak.
Yeah, thank you. If there's anyone who hasn't shared their opinion yet about the suggested case, because I don't really remember such a situation. I guess everybody had opportunity to speak, but if you want to add something, it's a chance, because we have the last stage left, which is the questions which you ask each other. If you have any question to any of the candidates, it is a good opportunity to ask them and actually discuss something which matters to you, which is interesting to you in the speeches of other candidates, in their programs, something like that. So this part is up to you, but also please limit your speech so that it's not more than 2 minutes. Thanks. So does anyone actually want to ask anyone else anything?
Not really, I guess.
So, okay, let's wait for a couple of seconds. Maybe someone decides to ask someone else, because it's debates and it's okay to have questions and find tricky ones to ask, like, what do you think about this problem or this issue? And why do you say this way or that way? But it's up to you, of course. So, yeah,
I think I can ask one question from Svetlana. So you said that you would make a group on Telegram where a person could write any problem he or she has, and you would say how to speak the same thing in Russian language, right?
The main idea is that they have 24-hour support for whatever questions they have, and they can speak English, Russian, or the languages we can group. I will try to make as much as possible, but mainly they can ask in those languages that we will organize, and they will have a reply on that language, or they can have reply on Russian, so they can feel.
So basically, will it be just translation, or will you be answering something? Because if it will be just translation, it will have no point, because we have Google Translate, Yandex Translate, and dozens of apps for that. So you'll be answering questions. It will be like counseling, right?
No, it will be to guide to what to do in the situation. For example, I've been in recently to get the visa in embassy, and when I was in a line, there was a Spanish girl and also going to a high school of economics, Erasmus, and she had so many questions. So when I told her that I speak Russian and we sit in cafeteria after that, and it took me like half an hour to explain her everything. So mainly it will be this platform where this person can make any question and can have a quick reply. So the important is the speed, that they don't know they can have a quick reply. And for example, and why Russian? Why I say Russian? If, for example, there is anything, for example, they go by the street and they see some sign which is important to know, and they don't know what does it mean. They just take a picture, they send it to the Telegram group or whatever it will be, or contact or whatever, and they can have a quick reply. Listen, this sign, it means this in Russia. So this is more or less the idea. So, but thank you for an answer. Yeah, and I also had a question. I understand there will be only one winner, or what? How does it?
No, the procedure is different. So there would be actually 8 places in total in the student council. So it's not like one winner. It's not Hunger Games. It's of a little bit different manner. So everybody has a chance to win and become a member of CISA. And the current debates are devoted to that. Your voters get acquainted with you. You could share the link to the recording of this YouTube translation, because it's translated on YouTube. I'll share the link with you also, so you could share this and show the voters, explain your positions, and explain what you want to do in CISA. That's the reason why we actually organize debates, and that's the reason why I encourage you to ask questions, so to explain your positions better and have a better platform to express your opinion. Okay. That's it.
This was.
I just find, that the current council has been doing a great job. I'm actually here because I just want to support Ulia. I think she's doing a fantastic job, and she helped so many people, and she had that drive. I don't know. I was hoping to see her because I never met her personally. It was always in the chat. So that's the main motivation. I just want to help people like Ulia and people, who have that drive.
Yeah, I would say that CISA was very efficient this year, and it's a good example. And I'm sure that you as the candidates have all the potential to help international students. And I wish all of you good luck in these elections. So if there are any questions left, to me, to each other, then it's time to ask them. If not, I guess we may finish our discussion for today.
No questions from my side.
Me neither.
Thanks everyone for understanding and everything.
Yeah, then thank you everyone for participating. Once again, good luck. We'll share with you the link to this YouTube translation so you could share it with your friends, acquaintances, potential voters, and have a great evening.
You too. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much.